Alright, so for today's review, we are going to be taking a look at my Ford F-250 that has a custom lift kit on it. The lift kit is 3D printed, and we'll get more into that. So as you can see here, the lift is pretty different than the what the old chassis is. Now, when you buy this kit, the chassis is 3D printed along with the wheels and the rims as well. And you do need to do a little bit of sanding work on the frame and the chassis. It's like when you get it, it's like a little bit of a weird textured plastic that you want to sand down, prime it a couple times, sand it down so you can get it as smooth as possible. But you can see here, it does roll, which is nice. You just have to drill out the little holes. There's some wax buildup where the axle goes that you got to clean out so that you can put a piece of brass rod in there or a piece of rod in there to make your wheels roll. So here's the detail. You can see you got some nice detailed rims here. It does have all these holes in them, which is real nice. And you can see some detailing right here on the rim as well. Now you want to be very careful when you do prime and paint these, not to put too much primer on or too much paint on, because you will cover up these little indentations right here in the rim, as you can see on the outside of the rim. I did that on one of mine. I'm not sure, as you can see right here, I did it on one of mine. I got a little too heavy on the primer. And I covered up some of them, but that's a learning error. And the tires are nice as well. You can see they got a nice tread pattern right there. And now we'll get to looking at the underside of the model. So this is the whole piece that you get. You get this whole chassis right here. You get the wheels and the tires. Everything else is just stock from the Ford. But you can see here it's fairly detailed for the print. I know he said he wanted to maybe add a little bit more detail or print it in a different material to show a little bit more of the detail. But as you can see here, you do have 2 points where your screws that hold your original frame and chassis on. You can just reuse those 2 screws and they line up perfectly. But you can see it's pretty detailed. I did my best to get it to look smooth, but you can see right here, it's a little bit of texture right there, but you're not really going to see the underside of it. I was more concerned about the frame rails, getting those to look right. On the parts that you could see, I wanted to get those right. But there is the lift kit. You do have a nice bumper on the back as well. You can see you got your Ford logo right there. You got a nice little indentation right there. You can put a hitch on here. You can see you got the 2 holes underneath right there. And the tailgate does open on the truck as well. That's about as far down as you can get it to go, which is nice. And then you can still close your tailgate up. And you just got to get it to lock in place. But overall, that is the lift kit. Now, like I said, you do have to remove the chassis. So here's that old chassis that comes on the model. You can see 2 screw holes line up. Now on this chassis, the one that comes on these sword pickups does have steering. This one does not have steering. It's just fixed. But it's just for display purposes only. So I could care less about the steering on there. And to model the steering would probably be very hard to do. So that's just one thing you do if you do get this lift kit. It doesn't come with the steering axles. And another thing to note is when you glue your wheels on, I do recommend you use like glue like this, where it's thin and it cures real fast. Don't use one that's gonna, be a real strong bond, because when I glued the wheels on for the first time, I did have problems where they were like wobbly and off to the side. So to use the thin stuff, you make minor adjustments until you get the wheels to how you want them to look. And I got them as straight as I could. As you can see right there, it's about as straight as I could get them to go. But there is the lifted kit, and then we'll bring in another Ford. This is just a standard Ford, no lift kit. Just basic stock model you can get. I believe this is a 4-inch lift, if I'm not mistaken. I know he was planning on doing a couple others, but he was having problems with the clearance of the wheels. So for right now, I believe you can get just the 4-inch lift. As you can see, it's quite a bit different. Kind of makes the model look a little bit nicer, in my opinion. But overall, it's a pretty nice kit, pretty easy and simple build. It took me, I'd say, 2 weeks. To put it all together, and that was letting the paint dry, letting the primer dry and stuff like that, and then waiting for the right weather to paint. But overall, it's a nice kit. I'd recommend it if you have a couple F-250s that you're looking to, maybe change up here and there. You can get the kit from Dirtworks Customs. He's got a Facebook page. He's got a Facebook group. And he's got an Etsy page as well. I will try to leave a link to all three in the description down below if you'd like to check him out. He does have some other, he's got some 1/64th stuff. And he does have some other 1/50th scale stuff. So if you're looking to get some of these lift kits, I'll be sure to leave a link to his Etsy page in the description. I believe the kit runs for, it's going to be like $30, $35, that's with shipping. So if you want to get one, I highly recommend it. That's going to do it for this review, so thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you'd like to follow my social media, both of my links are in the description. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video to be uploaded.